just cut my bangs, and I know better than to cut my bangs while Mercury is in retrograde. But like they were like too long for my glasses. My glasses were just like pushing them up, and I miss my eyebrows. When my bangs are too long, I like to see my eyebrows. And now that I have my glasses on, I don't have any eyebrows. So
You know what? I'll just say this. Is the grocery store going to get mad at me if I complain about the carts not being returned?
Wait, what?
Like, if I come on the podcast and complain about something or talk about something,
Yeah.
am I supposed to talk about no people, places, or things while I'm here?
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're having a really good day so far. If you're new here, my name's Taylor. I come to you from Baltimore City, Maryland, and here we have Star Baby Moonchild joining us today on the podcast. And here on my YouTube channel, I feature content that's generally focused on knitting and spinning. In this week's episode of what I call the Thread to Mend podcast, I'm going to share with you a few swatches I have been knitting. I'm still working diligently on my Chained Oblivion, which I will just show you very quickly. I've made about an inch of progress, which is quite a lot for me, considering that these rows are very, very long, dauntingly long. It takes me quite a while to knit a single row, but as of right now, I am decreasing about 10 stitches on every right side row. So they're getting shorter as I go, but I'm a little unsure about the decreases at the yoke. I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. It's hard to know, but I need to reread the instructions and just double check and make sure I'm not misunderstanding. I'm loving this so far. It's such a gorgeous cable, and I love the seed stitch. If I could knit, I would love to knit more seed stitch. I'll leave it at that. But I'm very much enjoying this. I cannot wait for this to be done. And this is my semi-monogamous knit right now. This is the thing I pick up and I bring to knit night on Thursdays with Mo. And I try to knit it in the evening hours, although I never really get around to knitting at the end of my day. I did knit a few swatches to measure the yardage required for my affectionately known as the Gnome King's Mountain shawl. It is a working title. I don't know if I'm going to stick with that. I think I'm the only one. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I think it's a funny name, but I don't know. Let me show you the shawl. You've seen it already if you're not new, but this I knit with my hand spun, and I just think the pattern is gorgeous. I've been throwing it around, so it's a bit wrinkled, but I need a name. So let me know what you think she should be called. And I'm gonna finish this pattern, I swear. I was about to give up because none of my DK weight woolen spun yarn swatches gave me the right gauge. I knit all of them on size US 5s, including the shawl. So I don't want to knit like 6 more swatches. So I'm gonna knit a swatch with my own hand spun, which I have only this much left. And I'm going to calculate the yardage I would need. with my hand spun. But the thing is that my hand spun, it's knit quite dense. I should say it's spun with density. It's a worsted spun yarn, and I don't have any worsted spun yarns that are of a DK weight in my stash. I only have woolens because I spin a lot of worsted spun yarn. I buy a lot of woolen spun yarn, and woolen spun yarn is I can't talk. Woolen spun yarn is lighter, it is loftier, it has more air throughout it, and I would think you get a little bit more yardage because of that. So when I'm calculating like what amount of yardage you would need based on these swatches, it's less than I would think, and it's much less than this weighs. So I just want to make sure that I provide the right amount of yardage estimates, because I usually use math to calculate that for my patterns, and I might have to rely on my testers more and the amount of yarn they use. I'm sure that if you have 400 grams of any yarn, that will be sufficient. I have a hair in the back of my throat. Anyway, I almost gave up on drafting this pattern because I was so discouraged by my woolen spun swatches not meeting gauge. I actually knit 4 swatches in a row because I was swatching for another project I'm excited to start, and then none of these were the right size. So I need to play around, do a little math. I think I just might give a rough estimate of yardage and then let testers know, and then maybe use their knowledge to help inform the pattern's yardage estimates. I'm sure that if I say 400 grams of yarn, people will have enough yardage. I just don't like telling people to buy more yarn than they need. So, especially if they might be knitting with hand spun and you only need 366 grams, you know, that's more than 350, it's less than 400. I should just let good enough be good enough. And I'm struggling. I almost quit. Like I said, Mo was like, you're almost done. So I need to just finish that pattern. I see I have hair like on my face. I haven't even washed my face since I cut my bangs today. So there's that. I'm channeling my inner Andrea Mowry. If you haven't noticed, I have my woolen honey on. My bangs are more blunt. I'm just riding the wave of admiration over here because I'm very excited to cast on for her Thanksgiving long weekend sock knit along challenge. I'm looking for my other skein right now because I've lost it somewhere. But I have not succeeded at Andrea Mowry's sock challenge twice already this year. I'm in it to win it, baby. I am determined to knit 2 socks in 4 days. And I'm going to swatch in advance so that I'm knitting the right size. I plan to work the toe up instructions because I want to knit the right size. I am sick of knitting socks that do not fit me. And I realized, I haven't swatched yet, obviously, because my yarn isn't even caked up. But I noticed that the yardage of the sock yarn I have in my stash, this is Kelborn Woolen's Perennial yarn. It's a blend of merino, alpaca, and nylon. It has 497 yards for 100 grams. I think the yarns that she is recommending have less than that. So I'm a little worried it might be too light of a sock yarn. And so I'm thinking I'm going to hold it with an extra skein of silk mohair. I say an extra skein because I think it will be extra. I have over here set aside for Sorry Nordland's Iba tea. I have swatched for that, and I'm using 300 grams of cotton lino from the Wandering Flock, and I have 6 skeins. So what is that, like 150 grams? Many yards of this. I don't think I'm going to need it all. So I think that I have enough yardage. I did the math, but I didn't write it down, and I'm doubting myself now. But I think that if I combine the 22 ECR silk mohair with the cozy color of Kelborn Woolen's Perennial, I'm gonna get a little bit grungier bright yellow. This is a mustard, bright yellow mustard yellow, and this will kind of tone it down just a tiny bit. because I do want to use this skein from Spin Cycle. This is their dyed in the wool. I over dyed this with black walnut hulls to make the colors more muted. It used to be bright orange base skein, and it's like it has greens and it's very red, and my lighting today is not great. I'm very sorry about that. It's very overcast outside, and that's what's going on right now. So I'm gonna knit the Ooey Gooey socks. I already have like so many knitting plans, and it would be good to kind of start and begin some of those, but those Ooey Gooey socks are so cute, and I want to participate in a group event for once. So this is going to be my contrast color. I'm going to work toe up, and I'm going to use the main color for the entire heel. I'm not going to do any color work for the heel at all because I like to wear clogs a lot. Some of my clogs, they're very loose, so the back of my foot kind of lifts out of the shoe, or I have open back clogs. Sometimes I'll slide my foot in with a sock on, and I just think if they're solid, it'll look a little bit better.
That's my opinion! Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you?
And I think that these, this sock with the nylon, it has 15% nylon, plus the silk mohair, I think it'll be a very strong, strong sock. Typically, my socks wear out at the heel. So I'm very excited. It's a little ketchup and mustard, which I think is gonna be cheerful and maybe a little festive, but still yellow. I love yellow. I don't know if you know, I have yellow roller skates. I have a yellow Sherpa I skate in. I have a yellow book bag. Like, I love yellow. And so I've been waiting to knit these yellow socks, and I saw her yellow socks and I thought it's time. I'm gonna gauge swatch tonight, I hope. And then I do need to gauge swatch the little bit of yarn I have left over from my hand spun. So not the most fun things happening over here. I made little progress on my shawl, and I haven't even cast on the project I talked about working last week. I wanted to. I pulled the yarn out. I brought it with me out of the house to consider working, and then I just fixated on my Chained Oblivion instead. I have been working on my henwife shawl when I commute to work. So I commute on a shuttle Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I can knit about 1 1/4 rows per trip. So I get about 3 rows done a day, so about 6 rows a week, which is not much progress. But once I'm finished with my Chained Oblivion, this is gonna be my other monogamous knit, and I will probably be taking to travel something smaller. This right now is about 2 of my 5 skeins. I have just this much left of my second skein, and I have a third caked up and ready to go, and then 2 more to my side that are still in their skein form. So this project is 2/5 of the way done. My Chained Oblivion, I think I probably have 3 more skeins to work into that project, so it's maybe half done, and I have nothing else on my needles that I'm working on right now that I can think of anyway. So I'm ready to cast on something new, and it looks like it's gonna be the Ooey Gooey socks before anything else. These are so bright and cheerful. I think I might prioritize, aside from swatching for this, casting on the Caldelaria Pullover and having that ready to go, because I think that will be a good travel project and a good, like, you know, walk and knit. Right now, because of the size of these two, it's really hard to, and I have been walking and knitting with this. When I take Shippy for a long walk, it's usually with a knitting project, and I'm just finding this difficult. The hand spun yarn is also a little bit slippery on the needles. It's very I mean, it's a worsted spun yarn. It just has a little bit more slip to it. It has so much structure and bounce. When I do slip a stitch, when I drop a stitch, they unravel quickly. So I hesitate to keep walking with this one. I don't want to drop a lace stitch. And the Chained Oblivion, way too big to walk and knit with. So I need a walking and knitting project, and I'm going to finally cast on the Caldelaria blouse. Not the blouse, the pullover. I have the Caldelaria blouse yarn stash in front of me. This is coincidentally using the other Spin Cycle dyed in the wool skein I have. You cannot see this color. I'm sorry that my lighting is so bad this week. It is very overcast outside. So there's that, but I'm planning to knit this with some yarn I've had in my stash forever. It's like this would be a good sock yarn, except that it's just wool. It doesn't have any nylon to it, but it's Quince & Company's Finch in the colorway Twig, and I've been wanting to knit the Caldelaria blouse with this. So I know I have like 2 swatches to knit already, but I think I might swatch for that as well, and then maybe I'll have 2 new sweaters going on in the background once I finish my Chained Oblivion, because the girl's got to get off the stitches. She's been on the needles. I said stitches. She's got to get done. I've had her on my needles for too long, in my opinion, and that's what I've been knitting. I started combing some of my wool fiber. I've passed about half of it through my combs, and I need to comb the other half. Maybe a third of it is combed already, and once I have that combed, I will be spinning that at my wheel. I will not get to that until maybe December, but I hope to have the fiber prepped before then. So I'm setting some goals right now with you here. I'm going to swatch, comb, and then I think by next week, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but I think we might have one more weekend before Thanksgiving. Yes. So I should have a new cast on to share with you by then. I got nothing new right now. I just have a lot of ideas, and I've been, very busy. I have so much to do around the house all of the time. I'm trying to keep up with this girl. She's pretty healthy, but she tends to throw up a lot. I don't know if you have a cat that throws up a lot, but she does get sick frequently. I'm always cleaning up around the house these days. But other than that, she's in good health. She has a vet appointment on Monday. Our beloved veterinarian actually passed away last month, and I'm just devastated. I loved Dr. Pinot. He was the greatest, and he was genuinely a pillar in our community. His veterinary office, which is not far from where, well, I'm sharing too much information. But anyway, he was one of the only, potentially one of the only, I don't know for sure, one of the very few veterinary clinics that was not owned and operated by a private equity group. So it was so affordable. I'm gonna miss that. So any thoughts I had about ever getting a second dog are out the window right now, because I know that her veterinary care is going to get more expensive very soon, and so will every other pet of ours. So anyway, that happened. I was quite sad. Selfishly, I was quite sad about it, but I'm just, I don't want to sound weird, but I had this weird feeling because I pass by the clinic every day that I commute home from work, and I was looking out through the window and thought, what would I ever do without him? And then that same week, I got the news of his passing. So I hope I didn't make it happen. Anyway, that is it for this week's episode of the Threads to Men podcast. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you want to find me on social media, my name is Taylor E. Owen on Ravelry and Instagram. You can find me over on TikTok as Taylor Knits. And I just want to thank you all so much for spending your time with me here today. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and that you take care. Every time I sit down to record, I'm like never happy with the way that my hair looks. Weird.